Hey everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to talk about 5 things that I'm not super happy with about Cities Skylines 2 at the moment. But I gotta say, there are some things we need to talk about, but before we do so, let's have a little note from the sponsor before we then go actually into the video. Special thanks to our sponsor of today's video and the sponsor of the channel. Instant Gaming is a wonderful platform on which you can get your favorite games to a great value. Here you've got 24/7 support, you've got over 10,000 games at your hand, and you can find them very simple via a search bar, just like our Planet games over here. Or if you fancy, have a look at Cities, for example. Everything is here, including all the DLCs you wish to have. So special thanks again to Instant Gaming. Link is in the description. If you want to grab a game, please click there and have fun. Right, so we've had a dump of a lot of feature news about Cities Skylines 2, and to be honest, most of them have been absolutely mega. But we are here to, go for the best we can ever have. We are here to get the best out of every game, and that means we have to strive for the best out there, the best features. And some things I think could be better, so let's jump right into them. Number 1 is being parks. So, see, parks have been a vital part of city planning forever, and they become increasingly important with climate change and stuff like that, and also for people to search for recreation. However, they still maintain somewhat of a ploppable, and we did have already the parks and zoos updates as a DLC in Cities 1, so why don't we have this in here from the get-go as well? So I really would love to see a completely overhauled system in terms of how parks in general in Cities Skylines do work, in Cities Skylines 2 to be specific. It would be so good to have the option to, well, just have the option. That's, I think, the first thing we need to talk about. The first option we need is more versatility when it comes to building parks. Let's say, why can we not just zone an area that becomes effectively a park area? And with a park area, it would be cool to have some ploppables, like a playground, or like a dog area, or like kind of a recreation area, or like a sports field. But then, like, within that border, you can still maintain somewhat of the ploppables. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's gonna be in the game, but as of now, it does not really look like that. So I really would love to see that in game. And parks is effectively a good segue into number 2. 2 being climate change and climate control. This is something I've not heard about whatsoever with this game, and also not in the past game. And what I mean by that is, we do have control with the road tools and with trees and stuff to go for noise pollution and to go for, any kind of other pollution, whether it's been air pollution or whatnot. You can put trees to filter out air pollution. You can put down trees to, to just reduce the noise, as said. But what about climate control? Big cities, especially in, southern regions, I would say, but, we are getting into the temperate regions where in the summer times, as of now, speaking of this video, making this video, the south of Europe is like burning like crazy. We are talking about 47 degrees-ish in, for example, Valencia or whatnot, and it's not only the crazy south areas, so it would be lovely to actually get a bit of climate control here as well. And to be honest, you wouldn't even need to change that much, not that dramatically. It would actually be enough to, get the parks and get the trees and get the different types of roads and water features in as a positive impact for climate control within your city. Again, who knows if that's in a future feature update that we haven't seen yet. We can only talk about what is already known as of now, as of making the video. So if there is anything new, from recording the video until releasing the video, I will definitely make a note here. But that's the current state. Climate control is not a feature, and I would really love to see that, because I feel like it's a vital part of modern day city planning, especially when we have things like electric vehicles, we have things like green energy sources, we have things like noise pollution, we have things like air pollution. So climate control for me would be like a logical factor that ties into the whole range of an eco-friendly city, and that would be just lovely. The third aspect in my video is something that might sound weird in the first place, but it is roads. Yeah, I'm talking about roads as of being a little bit too much of a feature. Roads actually take up, in my opinion, a tiny bit of space. And no, I'm just kidding. It's taking up a huge amount of space for me too much. It's just a little tad too much. So how about reducing the importance of roads a little and bringing in a bit more importance to public transport, to, well, bikes, for example, are not a part of the base game. They will bring it into the game. They have already confirmed that via Twitter that there is going to be something like that. But I have to say, and this is something I really dislike, this would be so vital in terms of planning your city in a modern day city, like a vital part of a, people-friendly city. Reduce the amount of concrete, reduce the amount of cars, and bring in other ways of making people go from A to B. Should be a bit more of a focus. I may say they will potentially have this as a, as a potential road for the future, that they want to leave themselves some space to give us some updates and DLCs. I get that. But, for a game being released in 2023, I think it could have been a bit more focused on other things than roads. But at least we can say that roads seem to be very good. So yeah, that's that. However, I just wanted to tackle that point because I'm getting the feeling it's a tiny bit overdue with the roads and a little bit too less in, or a little in the other regions of public transport. Even though we have a lot of options, I would have had a tiny bit of shift of balance here. But maybe I gotta play this first before I can really judge it. But that's just my sentiment at the moment. Let's go into number 4, and this is being a little bit of a weird point because me coming from the Planet games and being very tempered when it comes to these type of things, it's terrain tools and landscaping. They remained exactly the same as in Cities 1. They just said they might be a bit more stable, they might be a bit more reliable, okay, fine, but they still don't get any more features. And as I said, I come from a game, or like a genre of games, where building with terrain tools is rather important, as well as Prehistoric Kingdom has the same as well. But I think to compare that, we would need to look a little bit more at Jurassic World Evolution in terms of what you are going to be capable of with these things. But I would love to be a bit more closer to the Planet games and just have a bit more control. They are okay, but you can't do crazy things. You can't do crazy sculpting with like overhanging, overarching voxels. You can't do like terrain work for like a desert area where you have like arches and stuff like that. You can't create big boulders out of terrain, for example. That's something that has to be done with mods again, or we have insane ploppables in the game. Who knows, but I don't think so. I just would have loved to have the option to be in a position that I can do some cities that are a little bit more special when it comes to inclines, declines, a bit of terrain work around there. Just make the city itself a bit more crazy. And yeah, just being limited to what we had isn't necessarily bad. It's been powerful. You could do some cool stuff with it, but it's not been extremely well, and I would love to see this feature tackled in the future to at least get a bit more control, especially with overhanging stuff, and this is definitely doable in the engine, so that would be lovely. Let's go to the last part, and the last part is very, very special for me because I was hoping till last week, until I got confirmation on Twitter, that airports are just being ploppables as they used to be in the base game in Cities 1 as well, and hell is that a thing. Now, I mean, you could argue that I'm a bit weird here because, I've said that eco-friendly cities and blah, 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 we should focus a little bit more on, this type of thing. And then I'm talking about airport like that. But yeah, airports are, especially for people who love city planning games, this is such a central element, and let's say there has been a group of 3 people who have spent an entire City Skylines series only building an airport, which was absolutely fun to see with the, how was it called again? Flux, it was Flux, it was Biestriglhausen and Strick, I forgot which was the order of the letters. Anyhow, you know what I mean? And they have built this with mods, obviously, but how cool was that they spent an entire series on just building that, just building a freaking airport with all the taxiways and stuff. And yes, I don't need that much, but it would have been good to at least, we have expandable buildings now in this game. Literally, we do have buildings with add-ons, with additional buildings, with upgrades. So at least that would be good with AirPods. You know, it's not full confirmation that we don't have upgrades on the AirPods, but it seems like we still have these, like maybe 2 or 3 of them, like the national, international, and whatever global AirPod, or how they're called, or like a small AirPod, national AirPod, international AirPod, whatever. They vary in size and have a different capacity, fine, but it would be lovely to just have different things. I know these buildings are massive from the get-go. You've seen that as a footprint in the footage. But as I said, hell, can we just have a bit more control to make it a bit more unique, a bit more individual? That would be lovely. And also, as said at the beginning, there is one more special thing I need to talk, and that is maybe the one most answered and commented feature of the game, even though it's not really a feature, it's actually a graphical element: the water. Not really sure what you guys are all about. I'm not in particular hyped about the water, but I'm also not in particular concerned about it. I just wanted to bring that into the video because it's either on the pro nor on the con side of things. I'm just like, it's water, you know, it's looking better than Cities 1. It's looking potentially not as good as in FPS games or in other games, but it's looking decent enough, I guess. So I will have to see it in action. I'm not going to go too much down into the graphics because we will debate graphics as soon as I have played the game and we have played the game and we've seen a bit more of that. But for now, I think water should be in the list of okay things, you know. We need a list of okay things. We have a lot of things in the amazing list and we've a couple of things in the not so amazing list, and there's like a huge gray area in the middle with okay things, which every game needs, and water is in there. So there we go. I think that's that. I really hope you like my list here of 5 things that I'm not entirely hyped about, and I really hope you enjoyed the style of the video today, trying a bit different things. Let me know your feedback in the comments down below. Until then, have a wonderful time. I talk to you in the next one, and don't forget, if you need a game, if you need an update, a DLC, whatnot, go to Instant Gaming. Link is in the description. You help me, you help yourself. Win-win for everyone. That would be lovely. I see you in the next one. Have a good time, and goodbye.